We want to talk about awake and in effect, WAKE. There is a Korean, South Korean man by the name of Thomas Lee, Thomas, and then his last name is Lee. Same as my son Daniel. So now the house that I sold in the address was 34-44 209th Street in Bayside, Bayside, New York, NEWYORK, and then it's 11361. Let's think about this. Okay, so in 2004, I believe, I gotta think about this. Hold on a second. Alexander was conceived in November 2004. So it was January, right? Okay, so like the end of 2003, the beginning of 2004, excuse me, I sold the house in Bayside, Queens, that address, with Jason Peter Romer. It's the one that had the garage attached to Louis Buzzio's house. There was a senior and a junior. And Jennifer Buzzio was my friend, formerly Ginsburg. So now, let's think about this. Okay, so I sold the house. Again, he was the only one with the money. And what happened was I had borrowed, I was working at Merrill Lynch. I was finishing up because I had just had Daniel. I just had completed a series of medical classes for my first clinical for nursing in New York State. It was a very hard semester, plus I had a baby in the middle of the semester, plus I was working full time. So it got to be a bit much. Jason and I went down to Virginia. I don't know, on a whim. I was just, however I got there, I was just like, let's just go. I want to see what it's like. And then I fell in love with the Hampton Park development. I mean, like we went in there, I was just like, this is like a dream come true down here. Like this has such, do you feel the difference down here? Which you did. So then we started with police departments and stuff, see if he could get a transfer. We wound up, while he was going through that process, just putting the house up for sale, see what we could get out of it. So I put it up on myself, not to have to pay a realtor commission, because again, house is expensive, and we owed a lot on the Bayside house because we didn't really have money to put down. We had sold the house in Lake Grove because he had lost his work, his employment. We had a tenant there by the name of Lou, Lou. He drove a green, almost a lime green Cadillac with a dark green velour top to it. It seemed to be a very custom, whichever. He was such a nice gentleman. Let me just make a quick side note. He was, I used to say, like, he had such a presence about him. It's like, it was again, that quiet, old world, I want to say maybe Italian, because it wasn't my grandparents' type of Italian, but I know by going over to Dino's house in Astoria, they had a different level or flavor of Italian. But he was also like very, like he had plastic on the furniture to keep it clean, and very ornate lamp, but not, it wasn't busy. There was just like one artwork piece that he really admired. And he was just a really, he was a straight shooter, but he was quiet and reserved, as was I. And I appreciated having another, gentleman in the house, in the apartment downstairs. He just brought an extra layer of security, I felt. He came recommended by this woman, Lynn Grant, Lynngrant. She was a local real estate agent in Lake Grove, very well known. She had her own brand name real estate agency, like a boutique shop, in the zip code 11755. Incidentally, that's where Maria and Tommy Speciale bought their first home and their second home, and where they made their residence. All right, so going back to Lou, right, and then we go back to Thomas Lee. So he bought the house. We had put money down on a new construction in Virginia. We got to pick the design features or whatever, and I was really, really excited about it being built and it was like the most exciting time of my life. It was like a baby, but this is such a sad story, but whatever. So I needed to lock in a contract in New York without having it backfire, because some Mike Kelly, not the one with the SAI microchip problem, a different guy. That was a fat guy. The other one was, I don't know what, but he backed out and stole $30,000 from me. My friend JJ Galucio had to go through all these court processes to try to get the $30,000 back. Wound up eating everything up in court fees. I was like, so anyway, so Thomas Lee locked in. He said he was going to be all cash, which they said, and I appreciated it. So he gave the price that I needed in order to get the house in Virginia, which I was very grateful for. And it was a very clean and easy transaction. Plus, I was very preoccupied. I mean, the name didn't ring any bells. No, I'm not expecting when a buyer I've done real estate my whole life. I don't know where everybody comes from. So let's think about this. So that was that. And then it was weird because Jason Peter Roemer, 1975, stayed in the New York location with Thomas Lee to do the transaction in New York with the law firm. I went down to Virginia by myself in order to meet down there, they only use a title company. So there was a title company and an attorney of some sort for the title company that was there, because they were watching the wire to make sure that my paperwork was neat and clean and covered for my presence being in Virginia, since that's the state for which I was going to be moving by myself with the two kids, just Benjamin and Daniel. There was no Alexander at that moment in time. I wasn't pregnant yet. And so, they confirmed Jay was in New York, I was in Virginia. We were clear to close, and so we did. There was a little bit of a hiccup. I didn't quite know why, but I tried to sit, patiently. Again, I didn't have my real estate license at that point, so I hadn't gone through the schooling. I didn't know how real estate worked, especially in Virginia, if it was the same. I had no idea. So that was that, and then let me think about it. Oh, and then that ties back to when I sold the house. I needed, again, a certain range because we had put so much into it, plus the cost of moving and then having to move back. Oh, it's a mess. Plus I was pregnant, and then we had to try to get another residence because Lynn and Lou didn't have enough housing for Jason and I, plus two kids, plus one on the way, within a 2-week period of when I got back officially. So let's think about this. That closing I did absentee. And Linda and Lou had given us a bridge loan of $90,000 between the Thomas Lee and the closing of the Virginia house, which then at the closing of the Bayside house, her home equity line was paid back in full of whatever I had borrowed on the check on the register that she had originally written out of her equity line. I guess it was Merrill Lynch, Bank of America. Excuse me. So that was that. And then, interestingly enough, when I moved to Ronkonkoma, I didn't meet her right away, but I did meet a woman by the name of Kathy Taylor, CATHYTAYLOR. She had a son when Benjamin's first birthday, the first kindergarten that he spent, I did kindergarten with Benjamin in Virginia, by the way, but he was not the sharpest tack in the room, which of course I always try to give him the best confidence at home, but they were like on writing sentences and he was not even fully competent with the alphabet yet. So when we came back to New York, I had him repeat kindergarten. That's where I met Kathy Stepnick and Taylor. So Kathy Taylor married, I always call him Cliff. Is it Clint? It's C-L-I-N-T, although I call him C-L-I-F-F by accident. I don't know, rolls off the tongue. And that's Stepnick, S-T-E-P-N-I-C-K. And so, but they had gotten divorced. There's Taylor and Eddie. I mean, like, you want to talk, Kathy as a mom is a really amazing mom. No, I mean, she's one of those moms like you wish you had a mom because she'll go to bat for you. She knows things and she's not like a soccer mom. Not a New York soccer mom. They're a whole different breed. They're like Jennifer Moeller. And then there's Kathy and Clint got divorced. They almost lost their house. Taylor, and then she met someone, I think it was, and Kathy's got sisters somewhere, really, I don't know, she talks about them like they're really important, but they get along, then they don't, I don't know, whatever, I don't get into it. And then there's, she met, not Fleischner, it is Flesor, F-L-E-S-O-R, and I cannot, Jim, yeah, J-I-M. So she met Jim Flesor, at, I don't know, I don't know how, a roundabout way, one of her friends introduced them because they all went to Sachem together, like class of, like before I was, like they're I think 10 years older than I am. So one of her guy friends that wears like a thick metal chain introduced her, Kathy, to Jim. She invited me to meet them, knowing I was single. When the first night that they had met, which I went down to I guess it was like a bar lounge, but not like a city one. It was more of like a restaurant with a sunroom with some seating, which was nice in, I think, Sayville area, Bohemia, I don't know. So I went there, I met with them. I wasn't expecting like to be quizzed on their lives. So I was there listening, but the poignant information, I'm not 100% sure. I know he lived in Rockville Center. I actually went there when he was moving out. Beautiful house, beautiful old Victorian. I mean, like dream house, like dollhouse is really what it looked like to me. Not like the dollhouse, the Omega disaster in Patchogue, but like, you know, I don't know, quaint Victorian style, whatever, with like fish scale moldings and stuff. Anyway, craftsman for sure. And let's think about this. Okay, so now Kathy, by the way, Jim is older than she is, but she is so in love with him. I mean, like the way she talks about him is so absolutely amazing. So like for me, there's one couple I've met that actually were able to fall in love, which was absolutely amazing. Because I, in my life, have not seen love between a man and a woman like ever. It's like sporadic hit or miss, but I think that for some reason, like their chemistry just works extremely well together. And I know Kathy talks all the time how grateful she is to have him. And he's not the healthiest man in the world. Again, like Harold, who got crushed in I don't know what, but I think something with his kneecap, but he kind of like sits to the side, right? Well, Jim has some rare disease called Marfan's, which, again, I don't want to get into, but these are the weird, rare things that seem to be popping up on the East Atlantic coast of 50 postage stamps that I was supposed to keep an eye on as a kiddo and help the good people I was helping before and leapfrog with penance of a surety of the quality of humanoid I was going to be in working with the good people that worked somewhere and were trying to keep people safe. I wasn't into like selling secrets or each other to like drug companies. I was actually trying to do the Ned Flanders thing, Nedflanders from The Simpsons, Simpsons. I used that in 1980s before The Simpsons came out with a whole bunch of the gym of fleshers, like respectables. He's again another like he's true. Like again, I don't want to like upset him with age, but like he's like a real like I don't know like real someone special as far as the U.S.S of somebody special. Like he just has that like presence about him. He's again a quiet storm, but you know that if you need him to go to bat, like you want to hold his arm and just go like, you make me feel safe. But of course he's, Kathy's arm to hold. So I don't cross that barrier. I wouldn't dare. I wouldn't disrespect Cathy like that. But I'm glad that she found someone that arm that she can hold that actually makes her feel safe. So that's important as well. Let me think about this. I think those are the important facts in a succession of how to keep multiple things in order of importance and in time frame. I gotta think about this. Looking through the glass to another realm of possibility. Oh, one last thing I want to add on that, because I'm going to thread back like a seamstress for Taylor. Because Benjamin, my son Benjamin, with the broken genetics, and Taylor Stepnick, they are, Cathy used her last name as a first name with her husband's last name that is the father. Anyway, Benjamin's only best friend and only friend since kindergarten's been Taylor Stepnick. Really amazing kid, really handsome kid, very tall kid as well, like a sequoia. But again, not that any of the other kids weren't worthy of Benjamin. It's just that he's a specific, he's a reptilian personality, honestly, like myself. I mean, we're just cautious and stand back and watch. So you got to be someone really special, but Taylor's got it. He's an instrument that is you just know he's built right. Let's think about this. Okay, so going back to my 6th grade in Lloyd Harbor Elementary, again, pulling in more pieces of information, really important. They put on, the year that I graduated from 6th grade, which was Mr. Moore was the teacher. I know he had some friends in some serious places. The play that they put on was a musical. It was The Wizard of Oz. So I had tried out with the music teacher for the solo, for the lead of Dorothy. I didn't get it. Stephanie Johnson, Johnsson, she got it. And then there was a second one, which was Heather Bentley, Heatherbentley. And Jackie Leiberg played the Wicked Witch on both of the sets. So she actually had a lead, but double part. I was a sunflower kid, I think. I wasn't a lollipop kid. That was Brian McLaughlin. I was a sunflower. And then I think I was a poppy also. I think that's what it was. It's hard to remember. It was so non-important. But I know that the 2 names of the 2 leads are important for someone somewhere. And then at 6th grade graduation, the song Friends came on. It's if you're down and you need a helping hand, whatever. I don't know the rest of the words, but you get the point. So that song, there was a girl, I'm trying to think, Amy, oh God, what was her name? I don't know, it was Amy something or other. She was the girl right before me, and then Phil Cardillo was the one right after me, I think, or is the other way around. I'm not sure, but I have one picture I think I put up on Facebook at one point. But that was 6th grade graduation from, like, you cannot miss my flat face, like the Johannes Vermeer picture. I mean, but I do look very tan because I think that's when we went to Mexico, and then we got stuck in Mexico for some hurricane or it was a snowstorm in New York, out of nowhere. So we had gotten stuck and stranded in Mexico for like some extra time down there, and it was very sunny and hot. Oh, and Lou and Linda left me out in the water for like hours. Again, no suntan lotion works down there because it is just salt water and like lots of whatever. I was so burnt, it hurt so bad. But anyway, let's think about it. Right, and that's the time we went down to Cancun that looked different than when I went with Maria, and I was painting a parrot. It was a ceramic parrot, and I was hand painting it in some kid class that I just walked in on, and I was like, oh, look at that. My mom was looking for turtle wax for my nose, because that's what they recommended to put on instead of aloe. Yeah, I think that's significant enough of lineage and linear for the moment.